Welcome to the Parish the Thought Show. The opinions of Brian, your host, and his guests have not been sanitized or scientifically tested, so please consume at your own risk. Now, here's Brian.
Ladies and gentlemen, and whoever else is listening, welcome back to the program. My guests today are Jennifer Grimshaw and Heather Morley, two amazing humans, Utah Realtors, and most impressive of all, they're both single working mothers. Life happened to both of them in a hard way, but they embraced the uncomfortable and are killing it in real estate and being pretty dang good moms. Just ask any of their kids. Ladies, welcome to the program. Jennifer and Heather, appreciate you guys coming on. We're doing an episode on single moms in real estate. So I want to hear your stories. Heather, since you're unmuted, let's start with you.
Thanks, Jen. You did that on purpose. Okay. Yes, I am a single mom of three boys. They're 18, 20, and 17. So a little range. So at least they're a little older, so it does make it a lot easier. So I guess I'm not really representative of when you're a young single mom trying to make it in real estate. But it's still, I think a lot of things that I would say to other moms that are out there that are trying to do the same thing, I think that will still apply to everyone, no matter what the age range is. So,
how long have you been singling?
I've been singling for,
I just made that word up,
almost 4 years.
Okay, so they were all home.
They were a little, yeah, and process. They do. I will say they all live with me full time. So, except for, I'm sorry, the 20-year-old is out of the house now, but they've lived with me full time. I've been in real estate for almost 10 years. So she's a veteran, Jen. You and I are still rookies.
We're not worthy.
Yes. Yeah, right. So I don't know what else you want me to say right now. Like single mom in real estate is difficult, but I think single mom in any job is difficult. So because you just have to find kind of like that work-life balance because you have so much responsibility, especially as a mom. No offense, Brian, but moms moms do have like a big responsibility, I feel like, to just be there and be the person for their kids. So finding the balance, because when you're in real estate, you know this already, both of you know this, it's like a 24/7 job. You're always working. Right? So trying to figure out the times that you can like devote to your kids and try to get away from the work is very difficult.
It's like you have all the flexibility in the world, but yet you're on call all the time too.
But you don't. Yes. Yeah. It's like I think it's like the least flexible job I've ever been in. So,
but you're the boss.
Yeah. So I guess that is the good thing is that I am the boss. And so I can try to make my schedule around my kids' things so that I can be with my kids when they have activities going on. My kids played sports. They still play, some of them play sports. So being able to go to their stuff and scheduling my time around that is to making it.
Okay. All right. Jen.
Hello.
Your turn.
Okay, so I been singling it for 3 years now, and it was around that same time. I've got 4 kids. My oldest is 20, she's 20, newly engaged to her high school sweetheart. I've got a 17-year-old, a 14-year-old, and a 12-year-old. And for 20 years, I was married and a stay-at-home mom. So the transition of becoming not only single, but then getting into the workforce again is all kind of like nothing looked familiar in my life anymore, except for that I was still just a mom. Just a mom.
Yeah,
But,
just a mom. That's the most underrated statement on the planet.
So when when everything just kind of, when my world got turned upside down, I guess, my good friend, she is also a real estate agent. And she said, you need to be a real estate agent. You take your test, do it, like, let's go. Because at the time I was feeling, as we all do at times, but I think more so like I needed to start contributing to society other than raising good human beings, but like financially contributing now to my home and my home life. And I didn't want me becoming single to affect the things, my kids' life very much. We don't like to see our kids in pain. And so if they're going to be uncomfortable, it's like something that we as parents, I think, can possibly lose sleep about if it's like, I don't know if that rings true for you guys, but it was important for me that my daughter, who enjoyed cheerleading, continue to participate in cheer, my volleyballer, my gymnast, my drummer. Like it was all, that was my focus. Like I've got to figure out a way for their life where it's kind of blown up to not be as disruptive as possible. Keep it as even as possible. Normal-ish as can be. So it was very important to me just to like dive right into the workforce, but a lot of insecurities, right? I mean, I hadn't worked for 20 years. I was feeling not very marketable.
Stop you there. What you meant to say was earning money. I didn't get money for working, but worked my ass off.
20 years.
Yes.
Jumping into
not working for 20 years, just sitting around watching Oprah or whoever.
Eating bonbons.
Why is it always bonbons?
I don't know.
I don't even know what a bonbon is.
I've never me either. I don't know what a bonbon is.
But it sounds pretty cushy.
I'm watching my stories.
We should try to find them so we can eat them. We should have been eating them right now, too.
Totally. Oh, that'd be awesome. We could have them at like an open house in front of the TV or something.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Yes.
Honestly, back in when it was really rough because I was applying for jobs. Real estate wasn't even on my radar. The only thing I knew about it was that I had a home. I signed where I needed to sign. I didn't know much, but, like I said, my best friend who I trusted and who was there for me on lots of long runs, listening to me cry and vent and laugh and all the things, she encouraged me to get my license. And so I did. And I think for me, so I've been a real estate agent now. I took my test in June of 2022. And I had gotten just like a silly little, I say silly because it was like sucking the life out of me. It was just this like stay-at-home online database,
like
horrible job
or some stupid.
For me.
Yeah.
Like
work from home, make thousands a month.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sucking my soul dry because I was staring at a computer all day. But I had insurance and I needed to provide insurance for myself and my kids. And it was something. It was the only thing I could get while I was taking my hours for real estate school. So I passed the test in June and I tried to you guys know how well this works, double time with doing one job and then trying to do real estate. And honestly, it was finally until I decided, or I knew that I had put all of my eggs in this basket, that I knew it had to work. Like I have to take that jump and I have to have trust in myself that I can make this work because I put all of my eggs in this basket. So I had to go for it. So I quit that job and got my first sell within 2 weeks of quitting that job.
Dang, that's impressive.
So it was like, okay, this is where I've got to put my attention and my time and my energy. And yeah, so I mean, I didn't have anything to compare it to. All I really knew was that it was the hardest market to get your real estate license in 2020 last year.
Yeah.
So let's see. So September was my first closing. September of 2022 was my first closing. In 2023, I had 28 transactions and like over $12 million in transactions.
Awesome.
Oh, nice. That's impressive. Took me 6 months to make my first sale when I started.
Well,
You know,
I
you
think
can't compare stories, but
right.
that's impressive.
I think that. Oh, thank you. Well, it's just one of those things. It was like, I think it just was nice. It was at this point, you know, with planning a wedding now and wanting my daughter's dreams or our kids' dreams to keep going. Sorry about that beeping. It's going to stop soon. It is a lot of pressure though. There's a lot of pressure in that balance that you were talking about, Heather, of creating those boundaries. And I have yet to know that. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's really tough. Like it's, I mean, I've been doing this real estate for 10 years, so I've kind of had to figure it out. Even when I was married, there was still that, okay, what do I need to do to have like the work-life balance? Because it is so difficult. So I don't know if you, Brian, if you want me to share kind of the things that I kind of do to help in that.
I do, but I have a question for both of you first.
Okay.
Are the fathers on both your stories still in the picture helping out, or are they gone completely?
Yeah, my ex is still helps. Like I said, my boys do live with me full time though, so I feel like when it really comes down to it, I'm like the one that is responsible, right? Because they live with me. So, but he is around. He does stuff like even today. I couldn't because I forgot like the other day when I was making a doctor's appointment for one of the boys that we had this. So then I was like, hey, can you just take him or can you go? And
you sacrificed your family for me?
I did.
Oh, you're so cool.
Yes. No, he's in the picture. He's great. He does a lot of stuff for the boys. So yeah, I don't have anything bad to say about that. I know that it can be difficult for a lot of people, but we're actually great co-parents.
Yes, I can relate. My ex lives in Payson, so 10 minutes away, and I have my kids the majority of the time, but he is good. I mean, he's always worked out of town, and so when he, you know, works out of town and I need to get the kids where they need to be or whatever, but we're much better co-parents than we were lovers.
You were, yeah. Yeah. Fair enough. And Heather,
Awesome.
you could take it where you were going to take it.
Oh yeah. So work-life balance. It's so difficult, especially with real estate. I feel like just because we are on our phones all the time, we're always answering stuff. We're always just, you know, it's always about work, right? And you're just trying to fit. I feel like you're a real estate agent and then you just like have to try to fit everything else in outside of that. So
are your kids at this point, are they resentful, or they just realize, hey, this is what mom has to do so we can have this lifestyle that we have?
yeah, I actually think that they're not resentful at all. I think they see me hustle. They're so like, they're really like my cheerleaders. They honestly are like, you're awesome, mom. Like you do such a great job. Like, you know, and they know that the reason we have a lot of the stuff that we have is because I work my butt. So
I Oh, I hope that my kids are hearing this, because I wouldn't say that they're resentful, but they do monitor my calls and the calls that I take and I don't take. And
Define monitor.
Yeah.
Like,
they just overhear, or are they like,
no, they're like,
your calls?
Mom's always on the phone.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's a adjustment for them, because you have been there.
Right.
For everything.
Right. And yes. And I'm being accused of leaving them on heard a lot. Like, there's on read, where you leave your text messages on read, but my kids have came up with a term on heard, that moms left them on heard, because they'll be talking to me, but I'm so distracted and wrapped up on what's going on with work stuff that I'm not listening at all. And so they don't have my undivided attention. And so I get accused of leaving them unheard. And I didn't know, that the time to go out of town was January, February. And so I kind of missed that for 2022 in the downtime. And so I hadn't, and we were used to kind of traveling, going away for the summer. That's when we were never home. Going to where my ex-husband was working, because he, like I said, he worked out of town and out of state. So we would spend most of the summers wherever he was, or traveling. And that's been an adjustment, is not being able to leave as much. But I did, this January for Christmas, took my kids to Hawaii. And I was under strict orders that I couldn't answer my phone. And we kind of had like a come to Jesus, like, we are here because of this phone. This is why we could be in Hawaii. So let's get on the same page a little bit.
Leave mom alone.
As I'm hiding in the beach under a towel. This is Jen. Can I schedule any showings for you?
That's awesome.
No, but they understand too. I mean, like I said, I've got a wedding to pay for now, and my kids understand that, like, if I've got showings, I have yet to be able to figure out, like, if somebody wants a showing, how to first think, what do I have going on? It's like, yes. And then someone's stranded somewhere. That's been the trickiest for me, is, not being able to just like up and run chapstick to my son because he has chapped lips, which is, I will admit I have done something like that.
That is an emergency, I guess, in some
it is
planets.
It is 100% an emergency. Like, I've been there, done that too.
You're just like, dude.
I won't lie too. Like, I've actually had to ask my assistant one time to go pick up my kids from something, because I just couldn't do it.
Well, they're assisting you. That's a fair request.
I mean, technically she's not my personal assistant, but I was just like, I gotta help. I gotta have her help me today.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a question. As weird as it sounds, what is the best part of being a single mom realtor? And then I'm going to ask you what the worst part is. Either one of you can fight over it. You can arm wrestle who goes first.
I got to think about this. The best part about being a single mom realtor is, I don't know, like, this sounds kind of weird, but I'm super proud of myself that I'm able to do this and do this for my kids. And I live in my own house, and I have it sounds so dumb, but it's like, I'm so grateful for the business that I have, because I'm able to take care of my kids and have a house and have a car and do all these things by myself.
Doesn't sound
I never
weird.
thought I could do that. I was married for 20 years too. So I just didn't think that was do it.
What I heard was, I'm damn proud of what I achieved. And I think in our culture here in Utah, Heather, I don't know, are you part of the predominant club?
Sort of.
Sort of. Well, it's we can't give credit to ourselves. We have to, all the credit goes to God, which I think is bullshit. Some can, but you're still doing the work. You're still in the trenches doing the stuff. So I heard, you said, I'm proud of me for busting ass. This is now an R-rated show, PG-13 show, because I'm dropping some bombs, but
that's fine. Now I know that I can cuss too.
Yeah, well, she said there's no rules.
No, I think that's the best part, is that I just didn't think I could do it by myself. And Jen, you probably thought the same thing. I mean, here you are, you didn't work. You did work because you were a stay-at-home mom, which is, oh my gosh,
didn't get a
full-time job in itself. So, but you probably were just like, okay, I don't know if I can do this, which is why you had the 2 jobs at the same time, because you were just so worried, like, can I really do this?
Security.
It's the security. Yeah.
Whatever that means.
Mm-hmm. And so, oh my gosh, you should be super proud of yourself that you just pushed yourself out into, and you're like, nope, I'm going to do this. I'm going to go all in. And now you were able to take your kids to Hawaii by yourself.
Right. Yes. And that's what I was going to say. I think it's the same thing. It's that financial independence that, and same thing. I told Brian this, but I was able to buy out my equity and stay in the home that I have, that I love really, and buy my own car, which same thing, being a stay-at-home mom, it never felt possible. There's a lot of trust, and it kind of is a lot of relying on somebody else for your financial needs is a lot trickier. It's kind of a balance in itself, and not being able to trust myself that I knew how to be financially independent, or that I could create an opportunity for myself to be financially independent felt so foreign. And the fact that I was, like I said, able to buy my equity, take my kids to Hawaii, put money aside for a wedding, has been same thing. Just super proud of myself. I don't think I would have been able. No, I know I wouldn't have been able to do that with the data entry job that I had before that.
Come on, that's a career position.
Okay, do you want to know the worst thing about being a real estate agent now?
Yes, soon enough. But then, so I'm, and you talk, you did the trip, you paid off your house, or you got, bought your house out from under bought your husband out of the house. And those are things and material things. But my guess is, and what I've realized being in real estate is just the freedom to have freaking choices. I achieved things I never believed that I could as well since I entered this world. Because I just didn't believe I could. And it was just like survival, just taught to survive, and was surviving. And that just sucks.
Sure. Yeah.
So we can talk about worse things now. This is your show, not my show.
Oh, yeah. No, we want to know what the worst thing for you is about being a real estate agent.
Yeah. About being a single married man.
Yes.
Worst thing. The worst thing and best thing is relying on myself and still fighting what's going on between my ears and the programming that's been in there my whole life. Because I changed at 48 years old. I switched over, complete career change with a whole life of programming that says just survive and just survive. That's what you got to do. Get, the security, which is a bunch of crap too. Working for someone else is not secure. It's predictable, but it's not even then it's not. Someone could yank your job in 2 seconds. That would be the worst. And also the best, that it's up to me. I have to go out and kill something and drag it home. And now that I've switched from being a builder agent to the outside, just had my first listing. Yeah, it's scary. It's a different animal. It's a totally different animal. And I have to hustle and ground pound and shout from the rooftops and put door hangers on people's doors, especially other agents. Right, Jen?
I loved it. I loved getting it.
Got zero response from that, except for your call saying you saw me on your porch. So, But I knew that. I knew that going in, it wasn't going to get much from it. But anyway, yes. Okay.
That's fun.
Dark side of being, if you have a dark side of being a single mom realtor.
Ben, what is it?
Okay, so I was just, as you know, Brian was talking, and I could feel like I could relate to it. I think for me, kind of going the same direction is it is all on me. It feels like if I fail, it's because of me. If I where on the one side, if I succeed, it's because of the things that I've learned and I've grown from that. If I don't show up, then it fails. My business fails. And that's my fault. That's on me. I can't blame anybody else for that, for me not showing up. And that to me is putting trust in myself that I never had. I never developed, I guess, that kind of trust. Another thing though, too, one of the hardest things, I don't know if there's the worst things, but one of the harder things for me too is feeling of like, in that insecure feeling of like, am I good enough in all of these different categories? And of all of these hats that I'm wearing, am I enough? Am I doing enough real estate to create that financial independence for me and my kids? Am I doing enough momming to teach these people what they need to do to be humans? Am I doing enough, in relationships that I have now? Like I've been dating, and am I doing enough as that part? And I don't want to lose myself, but who am I? It's just like this constant, there's no downtime. It's so hard because there never feels like the same thing between my ears. Like, when does this get a break? Because it doesn't end at 5 o'clock. It's not a 9 to 5 job, but neither is being a mom, and neither is being a member of our club.
You can say it. Say it. Say it.
I say I'm a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and I love coffee and shoulders.
Oh, you can't have both.
No, just kidding. But yes,
you decide. You always say, I wonder if I'm enough, but you're the one who decides if you're enough. And I think a lot of that programming is from the culture. This perfectionism, yes, that we've got wrong on so many levels.
Right.
So you decide if you're enough. So there you go. You can answer that one.
Yeah. And I never hear what I want to hear from myself.
Listen to yourself. Make an appointment with yourself. All right, Heather. What's your spin on if you have a dark side? You don't have to.
Yeah, I would say probably the hardest. I'm not going to say it's the worst because that sounds so bad. Honestly, I really do love real estate. I love it. So, but one of the hardest things is probably like what we talked about before and what Vin's been talking about is having enough time, I guess, focus on this and this and this. And, we're single moms who are, trying to once I get in, is trying to date too. So you have to find the time to date, be a mom, and do real estate, and all of it combined together. And so I would just say, just trying to find the time to do everything. And I probably gave up a few years ago on the whole idea of being perfect in everything, because you just can't.
Well, it depends on how you define it.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you would have to, I think for a long time I thought the house had to be perfect. I had to have no dishes in the sink. My kids had to be perfect. Going to they had to have good grades and all this stuff. And it was like, for some reason, it was like my responsibility. And if I could show you my house right now, you guys would understand. Like, I'm falling short.
Yeah. Thank you, Pinterest, for making all men and women feel inferior to everybody.
Like the last home cooked meal my kids had was probably 2 years ago.
And you know what? Your kids don't care.
No, they don't.
They don't care. That's a cultural thing that's been ingrained. And
That's what I was going to say. Like, I've just been so much better about just like letting that stuff go and just leveraging out some of my stuff that I know that I can leverage out. If I need house cleaner, I get a house cleaner so that I can, instead of
clean your own house. Oh my gosh, you can't be in the club anymore.
Exactly. And guess what? Sometimes I don't make homemade meals. I get beehive meals, the frozen meals that you can stick in the crock pot, because most of the time I'm out showing houses and I don't have time to make my kids a meal. So knowing that I can leave it in the morning and it's like perfect.
I wonder where that came from, the whole, like, and I've never heard a guy say, "Oh, don't look at my dirty house," ever.
No.
So that's something that
so
I don't know if it's outside of Utah too, because most of my life has been, or half of my life has been in the church, so that's all I've seen. But it's the first thing they say when someone comes to their house. "Oh my gosh, my house is a mess. Don't look at it." Well, as soon as you say "don't look at it," I'm going to look at it. Right? And instead of saying, "Hey, I'm sorry, it looks like someone lives here," deal with it. And I don't know, is that, you tell me, that's not to like prescribe a thing to gender, but that's a woman thing that I've seen. Am I wrong?
No, it definitely is. I think there is this, and especially, if you were a stay-at-home mom and then all of a sudden you're not, you still feel like you have to be the queen of the house, has to be perfect. You have to cook your kids' homemade meals, all of these things, because you've had that for so long. So I think that's where it comes from, is it's hard to break away from that.
Right. Yeah. Like for me, it was like my kids, I was able to have that. I was able to take the time to, even a stay-at-home mom, you still have to teach like your kids chores, and you guys have to help around the house. You're part of this family, whatever else. But I think working now and how hard we work, even that same thing, like you were saying, Heather, like with grades and stuff, it's like, my expectations are for you to just pass.
No, I'm literally, I told my son last night, "Can you just graduate high school? That's all I care about. You just need a diploma. I don't care if no one's going to ask you down the road what your grades were in high school." Like,
yeah.
So just graduate.
Yes. Just like my expectations
bare minimum
for, yeah. It's like, I think I fed you yesterday. Can you just help me? I feel like that's going to be on my headstone one day. Here lies Jen. You didn't get any help. No, just kidding.
She just wanted a little help.
She had low expectations and they still were unmet.
And it still killed me.
Just kidding.
Yeah. Well, and like my wife's very, we have one son at home now, 4 kids, but 1 left. And she loves doting on him. And I don't. She's kind of helicopter. I'm kind of like in a different state. And I'm like, dude, if he's hungry, he knows where the damn food is. He can eat. She doesn't need to make him something. She doesn't need to do his laundry, but she does it. It's like, I know I'm an enabler. And she admits that. I mean, he's going to get out of house and he's going to die.
But you have 3 daughters and then your youngest is a son, right?
Yeah. So he has 4 moms.
So that's me. My youngest is a son and I have 3 daughters. And I know exactly how she feels. She has to dote on him.
And that's what she's wanted to do for ages. And so she's the last 5 years, she's been able to do that.
We don't know any different. We have 3 daddy's girls and now this boy that loves us so much.
Yeah. Okay. He'll be okay. It'll be a shock, but he'll be okay. We'll throw him to the wolves and he'll last a little while before they chew his leg off.
I think it's just the youngest thing, because I'm the same way with my youngest. He gets everything. I always cook stuff for him. I was doing his laundry last night. I'm like, why am I doing this?
Because you feel needed.
Yeah.
And the older ones are like, this is not the same set of parents we had. I don't know what, because my daughters say that.
Yeah.
And I told them, I said, girls, I didn't know what the hell I was doing with you. We were figuring it out. And now we didn't have any money.
And now we figured it out. You can get your own stuff.
Yeah. And now we have a little bit of money and some freedom, and we kind of know what we're doing. So sorry, it's a different experience. Deal with it.
So I have a question for you, Brian, because this kind of could be one of those like male, female things, generalization things too, but like, are you able to turn off work when you're home? Are you able to like turn that part of your brain off?
I can, yeah.
Heather?
Well, and maybe it's because I'm right at this position. I have one seller. I have one client at the moment. So yeah, I can shut it off. It does. Yeah. I'll answer my phone at any time though. I always respond.
Yeah.
But I'm not, if I like some days I'll just like, yeah, I'm not going to get that. And I think we set our own boundaries too.
Mm-hmm.
Totally. Yeah. And I haven't learned, I'm always not only like, I feel like I'm mostly available, but I can't compartmentalize, I guess. It's like, there's always 3 or 4 things going through my head all of the time. And
well, I watch my wife do the same thing. She can never just do one thing. She has to multitask. And I have a theory about that, ladies.
Okay.
Correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm open to being taught, is that multitasking means you can do a lot of things really poorly.
And
I could be wrong. Tell me if I am, because I have to focus on, if I'm talking to somebody, I'm talking to that person. And my wife's, I'm trying to talk to her and she starts doing some task or around the kitchen or whatever she's doing in the house. I'm like, you're not listening to me. She's like, yeah, I'm totally listening to you. No, you're not, because you're not looking at me. That's my issue.
I read this book on multitasking because I used to use it as an excuse. Like, I'm just a great multitasker, but it basically said that there's no such thing as multitasking.
Amen.
It's not like, not even a computer. A computer doesn't necessarily multitask. It just does things super, super fast. And
you're just a super, super faster.
No. I just, by not doing something, I just say it's because I'm a multitasker and that wasn't in the list of priorities. But really it's not real. Nobody can. We like to tell ourselves that we can because we don't want to just sit and listen.
Fair point.
I'm just kidding.
I have a really hard time shutting off work. I feel like I'm available 24/7. I try not to be. I was trying to be a boundary person. And so I put on my voicemail, if you caught me after 7:30, I'll call you the following day. All right. Because I was like, I'm going to make this boundary. I'm going to stick to it. Like, I can do this, And no, I don't. Like, if my clients are really wanting to get a hold of me, then I always reach out no matter what time. And the hard part is that I've had clients, because I've done this, then my clients know this already. And so sometimes they're texting me at like 10:30 or 11 o'clock at night. And I'm like, I should not be allowing this, because we all need time to be able to like shut down, be with our families, not have all the work going on. And most of the time, these little things that they're texting us for or calling us for can wait until.
Yeah, their emergency is not yours.
Right. So I'm saying this because I need to be better about it. And so I did try it. Like, I do have it still on my voicemail. And so I'm like, I need to just stick with that and say, this is what I'm going to do, because I want to be able to shut down at night and just be with my kids.
And I think most people can respect that. And if they don't,
Mm-hmm.
then you've kind of just chased away a problem, possibly.
Yeah. I think most people can wait until the next day.
Like I say, are there really emergencies? Depends on how you define those too.
Yeah, that's been my biggest thing, is because I'm the same way. Like, I will answer my phone. I will be laying in bed texting somebody, getting CCNRs sent over to them. And I do have to tell myself, is this life or death? Like, if they don't get this information, why am I making this more of a need? You know, like they need me. They need me to get this information for them. They need this information now. And I wonder if that's kind of too me, that empathy part of being a mom, where it's like, there's the other boundary that I have yet to be able to figure out, is that like, oh no, they have this health issue that's going to that makes them need to get closer to the hospital. And if we can't sell their house, then they're not going to get their needs met. And I can't sleep at night because I can't sell their house and they need to. And I'm losing sleep for them.
Yeah.
I am so guilty. It's like all of these problems I put on my lap, whether it's to be needed or because I don't know how not to care. I don't know if that's the right.
It's your mothering instincts and nurturing instincts probably spilling over into that, I would assume, correct?
Yeah, I think so. I do the same thing. I take on all my clients' stresses.
And maybe it's not.
But they need to move to Arkansas. But they need to do this.
Yeah.
And why isn't the house selling? And they need to move. Like, yeah, I do the same thing. I 100%.
Because you have a high give a crap factor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm constantly trying to remember, like, my purpose in this transaction and as a real estate agent is to facilitate in the buying and selling of homes, period. And my last client was trying to get me to break up her daughter's engagement with a son she didn't like.
Well, that's the therapy side of things. Yeah.
Future son-in-law. And I was just like, I think they love each other. I'm really sorry. I don't know what to tell you. And I have to remind myself, my job here is to facilitate the transaction of real estate, period.
No, and therapy.
Therapy. I was going to say, the hard part is like, I think, Jen, the reason why you are being successful in this world of real estate is because you do care. And that's the thing, is that people do want somebody that cares. And so there is this fine line or balance between it all, because people want somebody that cares. And so that's why they're going to come. That's why they're going to come to you, and they're going to say, "Can you help us buy a house, or can you help us sell our house?" Because they're looking for that.
Well, it's a lost art. Giving to crowd in our fast-paced, busy digital social media world, the good old-fashioned face-to-face taking care of people is becoming more rare.
Right.
Yeah, and people still want it in real estate. That's why
it matters.
When people say, this was a few years ago, I don't remember when, but you probably were getting the messages about how Amazon was going to have you could buy a house on Amazon, is what this idea was. And so we were getting text messages and stuff about Amazon's going to take over, and all this stuff. And it's like, I was never worried about it. And then, obviously, that there's those discount brokerages out there that are where they are mainly just digital stuff. So they don't really meet with the people. People were worried, are they going to be taking over? And it's like, no, because when it really comes down to it, people still want a face-to-face personal relationship with someone that they trust, take care of their wills, because it's a huge deal.
Yeah, the Amazons and the homies and the discount brokerages, I actually like the fact that they're there because it makes me work harder and be better. and understand my value and learn what my value is.
Right.
So I don't mind. They don't bother me a bit.
Sure.
So Jen, just keep on caring. You'll just have to like figure out, like, just like me, you just have to kind of figure out, like, okay, how much can I put myself into this?
Does anybody have anything harder than melatonin? Just kidding.
6 melatonin.
Exactly.
No, I love that, Heather. Thank you for that, because I think you guys are right. I think that what that does set us apart as a local agent is that we really are more than just facilitating in a real estate transaction.
Mhm.
They're buying our clients are these are like the biggest transactions of some people's lives, and that's huge. And so, yeah, I think that's our niche. That's what sets us apart. That's why we love what we do, and we show up every single day. Because if it was just like a number or just cracking these through, I mean, everyone would do it.
If it was easy, children would do it, right?
I was going to say, I think if you looked at it as just numbers and, it's just buying and selling, that's all it is, then you'll drive yourself crazy. You honestly would. I think honestly you would end up being one of those people that would just go back to having a full-time secure job.
Totally. Well, and your why, like my why was always to help people, whether it's through education. Like, let me teach you the whole process from point A to point Z and getting a home. And like, let's learn this together. I'm right there learning it with you, as opposed to just like, if that wasn't my why, this other stuff, like what we were talking about, was like that financial freedom, that financial independence, all the trip to Hawaii, even the home, like you said, Brian, that is material stuff. That's the cherry on top, though. It's
Absolutely.
very rewarding making lifelong friends. It's very rewarding knowing that like somebody was making one of the biggest transactions of their life and they trusted me enough to get them the information that they needed and find a place for them to love and grow their own family. So it's like finding that why, I think, that has really been rewarding and fulfilling for me. And then all this other financial independence has just been the cherry on top, for sure.
Amen, ladies. As I think we're wrapping up here, is there anything that I haven't asked you about being a single mom realtor that you want to share before we land this plane, as my friend Mike Rowe says? Not my friend, but I wish he was.
I don't know. I think we covered a lot of stuff. I would say, don't be afraid to leverage things out, ask for help, those kind of things. Taking time for yourself. Like a while back, I had a coach and they asked me, what are the list of your priorities? And I listed them, and it was like, the first one, of course, was like my kids and my work and my house. And then me personally, I was like down at the very bottom of the list. They're like, wait a second, you need to like prioritize. So I did that. And like, I can honestly say right now, number one is me. Because if I don't take care of me first, then none of the other things happen, including doing my job. So I'm like, I'm a better mom. I'm a better real estate agent. I'm a better friend, all of those things if I just take care of myself. So I would say that, like, just make time for yourself no matter who you are. Even Brian, who's married and a real estate agent.
Ew. Just kidding.
Ew.
One of these things is not like the other.
I'm just kidding. Ew, marriage.
Yeah. Ew. Yeah. So take care of yourself always. It's my first priority. As soon as I wake up in the morning, that's my time. Take care of myself first, and then I move on to everything else.
And I want to chime in the spillover from our culture, from the church culture that's here in Utah. and moms being the super mom, doing everything and sacrificing and for their kids and their family, and give. And like say, you need to be it's not selfish.
Not selfish.
It's not. Because if your tank is empty, and my wife gives, she has been in the church since she was 14, and she gives and she gives and she gives and she gives, and she's like that. She's so duty bound, and she's British as well, so that's part of the culture.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm watching, and I'm like, you're gonna just crash one day. And literally, she got in a car crash almost 5 years ago, got a minor brain injury.
Oh wow!
And I think that was God's way of saying, if you're not going to slow down a little, then I'm going to knock you out. And he knocked her out pretty hard it's like I said, it's been 5 years, but it's in her nature to still continue to go and go and go, but she has tempered that a little, and it's okay. It's okay. You have to say, if your tank is empty, you're done. The whole mask in the airplane, put your mask on first before you, what mom doesn't understand 100% that?
100% true. Yes.
Oh, no, you're dead. And now your kids are going to die because you didn't put their mask on or yours on first. Anyway, we all get that.
Yeah. And just to kind of like wrap up my thoughts, thank you so much can you hear me? My daughter's blending something.
Gotta bring her in there and she can explain herself.
But just to wrap it up, I love everything that was said, because it has helped me to realize like how important that self-care is. I think too, for me, just thinking, I've always said divorce is the second hardest thing I've ever done. Marriage is the first, and just jokingly, but I think what was so hard about it was that feeling of not being flexible and not shifting when I needed to shift. And I think that that's kind of how life goes, where your wife is in one scenario and then it takes a car accident because it's like, until something happens, if we're not willing to be flexible or shift, then something will help us shift. Something will be placed in front of us that like takes kind of our choice away a little bit, where it's like, okay, well now here's this accident. Here's this situation. Here's your whole life blowing up in your face, and nothing looks recognizable. And that was how I felt 3 years ago. I was burying my head in the sand for a very long time. And because it's hard, life can be hard. And I didn't want to see what I wanted. I wanted to see the really pretty picture of they travel in the summers and they get to do this, and look at your life looks so great and grand and wonderful. And then when I finally pulled my head out of that sand, it was pretty rough to see this view of what really my life was and what control I really have in my life. And the only real control we have is ourselves and what we choose to do with that. Like Heather was saying, that's why that self-care is not only so important, but it's truly the only thing we can control is making sure we're there and we've given ourselves enough grace, empathy, knowledge, all of the things in order for us so that when life shifts, we're flexible and we can be flexible to grow and to keep that abundance for us and learn. I don't know if any of that makes sense, but.
No, can you say it all over again in a different language, please?
No, I'm sorry. No, just re-listen to it. Re-listen to it and get what you can.
Perfect sense. No, you're right. Well, ladies, thank you so much. This has been fun.
Thanks.
Nice to meet you, Jen.
Series, but it's been fun to, just to see how you do it.
Yes, thank you guys so much. It was super nice to meet you, Heather. Maybe we'll see you around. Where do you live?
In Pleasant Grove.
Oh, not far. Yeah. Brian made it sound like you were in Tooele.
That's because we're in Narnia. And that's why it's far. It's pretty, but it's far out. That's how it's pretty, but hard to get to. Here we are.
All right, friends. We'll talk to you later.
All right. Thanks, ladies.
Thank you again for listening to the Parish the Thought Show. We know you have many podcast options and appreciate that you have chosen us. If you love what you hear, please give us a rating on whatever platform you find us. And don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. If you hate what you hear, only tell us. You're still here? Click on the next episode for more from the Parish the Thought Show.